Hey everybody, Steve Nixon again with Freejazzlessons.com. Thank you so much for joining me here today. All right, in today's video, I'm gonna do something I've actually never done before. I get a lot of email questions on the site. I get a lot of comments from the lessons I've put up and just sort of questions that people have about music in general coming in. Up to this point, I've always just done sort of a text response to it by writing back. So today I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna do a video response to a couple of the questions that I get in. I think it's a great way for a lot of people to learn all at one time and just a little bit more personal as well. All right, so let's get to our first question. The first question comes from Francis B from France. Francis writes, "Hi Steve, thanks for the lesson on summertime." He writes, "The first chord you wrote is D minor 7. To me, this implies D Dorian, considering this chord as being the second step of the scale of D. Here, it is the tonic of the song. How would you like this chord to be changed into D minor 6 or even D minor 6/9 so that it complies with the minor melodic scale of D?" Francis, that's a great question. You can really change that first chord there. I wrote D minor 7, but you could play it as D minor 6/9, D minor major 7, D minor add 9, really whatever you want, as long as the chord does not clash with the melody, okay? Or that you're not clashing with the other instruments you're playing with as well. So you want to make sure you're listening, okay? So in a jazz lead sheet, essentially you can sort of substitute things in there, you know, here and there. It really doesn't matter as long as it's functioning within, you know, the song and providing forward motion harmonically and there's no clash, okay? So if we have like, so that's the D minor 7, that's cool. That's D minor 6, okay, that's also very cool. That's D minor 6/9, that's pretty nice sounding as well. Or here's D minor major 7. Sort of like a James Bond sound there. So yeah, man, you know, whatever you want to do there, just make sure that it sounds good, okay? So substitutions is really a big part of getting our own personal sound in jazz. Thanks again for the question, Francis. Okay, our next question comes from Briller, and Briller does not leave what city he's from, but Briller writes, "Hi Steve, can you tell me the bebop scale you're interchanging with the G blues scale in your Autumn Leaves lesson, and can this apply to other tunes as well?" Okay, thanks for the question, Briller. To answer your question, I wasn't thinking as much scale there, so I wasn't necessarily thinking bebop scale. I was thinking a little bit more vertically, okay? I was thinking about placing chord tones, more arpeggiation type ideas, with a little bit of passing scale tones and some chromaticism leading into chord tones pretty much on the downbeat, okay? So that's sort of how I was approaching it right there. You could, for example, use like the G bebop scale there, like G minor bebop scale, but like I said, it really wasn't one particular scale there. All right, thanks for the question, brother. All right, our last question comes from Mike from San Antonio. Mike writes, "Hi Steve, if you could say one thing that you think would make the biggest impact in my playing, what would you say it would be?" Okay. I get variations on this question a lot. People ask me, you know, what's the most important thing to practice? Now, Mike, I've never heard your playing before, so I can't particularly say, hey, you know what, this one thing is gonna make, you know, be the secret that's gonna bring out your whole musicianship. But if I was speaking very generally, this is sort of what I hear from all the people that I've taught over the years, okay? They need a lot of work with getting their rhythm from being very good to a world-class level, okay? So with jazz and music that's in sort of a contemporary style, rhythmic placement, man, is super important. It's just sort of like what brings something from sounding good to just like amazing, you know, touches us emotionally, okay? And not enough time is spent on rhythm, all right? So how do we work on a rhythm? What are some things we can do? Well, from a real basic level, make sure you're playing along with the metronome, okay? That's a no-brainer. A lot of people know that. Couple other things that I would recommend you do. Play with musicians who are better than you, okay? Play with guys who have great swing feel, okay? Make sure that you get an opportunity to play with them and their rhythmic feel will sort of it'll come into your playing, okay? Just, where they're placing their beat, you have to adjust to them, okay? And eventually it'll sort of absorb into your playing, okay? Other things you can do. You can transcribe, okay? So for example, when I was a young musician, I thought I could swing pretty well, which was not true, but I thought I could, okay? And so I started playing along with this Miles Davis record, okay? I started playing along with like Kinda Blue and So What, and what else is on there? Freddie the Freeloader, Blue and Green. And so I started playing along with Miles solo, and I knew the notes, I'd heard it a million times, and then I started noticing, wait a second, he's way further back on the beat. So I'd play it, but I wasn't 100% locking in. So I started listening a little deeper, right? And once I started trying to get exactly where Miles was placing his beat, I noticed that he was really articulating and pulling back, placing his rhythm way further back on the beat than I was, okay? I learned a lot from that, okay? I sort of absorbed Miles' rhythmic feel as well from that, okay? And that really helped my swing feel and my rhythm as an overall whole, okay? So the two suggestions I would make would be to, work on your rhythm, and by doing that, play along with better musicians than you, all right? And also make sure that you're transcribing and listening very closely to master musicians, people like Miles Davis. Wes Montgomery's got incredible rhythmic feel. Who else has got great rhythmic feel? Barry Harris has got great rhythmic feel. Certain Bud Powell records, he's killing it. His rhythmic feel is on an incredible level, okay? So spend time working on your rhythm. One last bonus thing. Make sure you record yourself as well and listen back for not only your strengths, but your weaknesses as well, and then spend time working on your weaknesses as well. I tend to hear a lot of musicians working on their strengths. Okay, great. They got some really great blues licks under their playing. So they'll just keep learning more and more blues licks. But if your goal is to sound more like a bebop player or more of a contemporary player, well, hey man, if it's bebop, spend time working on that bebop, okay? But if it's more of a contemporary player, figure out what Brad Meldau's doing. Figure out what McCoy Tyner's doing. Figure out what Chick Corea is doing, okay? So spend time on things that you can't do and aren't sounding great. So thanks for the question, Mike.